Hi, JB Cycles here with an update on August the 5th. So I'm back from my holiday and sitting here drinking my Austrian Obstler Schnaps and looking at the data for the past 2 weeks. So here's the chart I drew in my previous video. I drew some scenarios here, and so this chart is showing my 4-week cycle in the S&P. And look, we have made some kind of a top here and started a pullback, but my cycle now says the pop comes early next week. The 4-week cycle normally has a pop around this point. We see here we popped up, there we really popped up, and yeah, I've shown this before. Here we popped. Sometimes, you know, it's a failing pop. It's no continuation. Like here it popped up, but it was just a shoulder, and so looks like we should expect some kind of a pop early next week, but that could be just a shoulder and then we continue down. But yeah, let's look at some other things. No, wait. Here we are. Yeah. So looking at my wavelets here, definitely looks like some kind of a top, and I earlier showed some momentum indicators. I said we are in an overbought situation, but it can continue for a while before we roll over. And I was looking at this formation here. I thought I saw a 3-drive top, but I also said this was also perhaps a bullish consolidation, not a topping formation. And indeed, it was not a 3-drive top. I think we were about here at the previous video, but we saw continuation to the upside. So now we are making well, it's a small 3-drive top here, up here actually. And in this setup, we should expect some kind of a pullback down to the 50-day moving average in orange down here, and we could find support at that level, or we could break lower. So this pullback is not over. We should go a bit lower, around 4,400, but we could break even lower to say 4,300. We'll have to see about that, but this should not be over. So looking at the hourly data, here I have the 2-week oscillation. Looking at the wavelets in the Dow Jones Industrial hourly data, could be some more downside very early on, say, on Monday. And this could be a small ABC. That could be the A of a bigger downside move. So a bit more downside on Monday, and then we get the pop, but it's just a shoulder, and then another ABC going down perhaps. Yeah, let's have a look at some cycles. I have these 3 cycles I've been following for a while, and here's the composite, and look, we topped out just where the composite topped out, and the composite has a low around mid-September. And these are the 3 cycles. We see the red one used to be the dominant one, and it has a low mid-September, and yeah, all cycles are pointing down here. So yeah, mid-September, remember that. What's next? Yeah, in the old days I used to follow a 25-week cycle, and I'm still keeping an eye on it, and yeah, it has a low also around September. And we have the 20 and the 40-week cycle. So I was expecting some kind of a low in this interval, and we have topped out. So the next target, the next objective is some kind of a low. So could be, yeah, around mid-September, early September, somewhere. Also, I've been looking at these two analogs, new bull markets from 66 and 1970, and I said the first target here is a rally up close to, just below or above the previous all-time high. So obviously we are not, well, we are rather close to the all-time high. So yeah, I have a gut feeling that we will see a B, C bull market. So we are in the big A, and yeah, I would expect it to go higher. It will be a kind of a sign of weakness if we don't. Yeah. So first A, and then a prolonged consolidation phase for about 6 months, and then the final C with the top around end of next year. So yeah, it could be that this A is over and we have started this long consolidation phase, or we could go higher. Well, don't know. What's the next thing? Was that it? Well, let's switch back to the. Oh, it's on autosave. Well, let's switch over to this one. So my work has found some kind of a correlation between the stock market and some solar activity. So the 4-week cycle is actually the solar. There's a solar wind 4-week cycle, and the market correlates with it. And there's also a 237-day cycle, I think, and half of that, a 118-day cycle. That's the I think Venus-Jupiter cycle, and it's also a geomagnetic cycle. So this weekend we had a geomagnetic storm, quite powerful, and that's often bearish. But the initial reaction in the markets are often bullish for a week or two. And we have the pop in the 4-week cycle coming up. So, you know, we could erase this top signal and go up and make even a higher high or a double top or something. It's quite possible. So, and also there's another geomagnetic cycle, and that's the seasonal cycle. So typically around March and September we have lots of strong geomagnetic storms because of the alignment of the planetary geomagnetic field. So in these periods around March and September, the geomagnetic field is weak, so to say, and can't resist the solar wind. And yeah, well, let's not talk too much about that, but kind of fits in the overall picture. So we do have a topping. Well, we do have a signal of a top. We have broken a trend line here, as we see. We have not reached the 50-day moving average, and we could indeed go quite a bit lower. But very short term, my cycle, my 4-week cycle shows watch out for the pop. Don't get too bearish here. We are a bit oversold here. But first, Monday could go lower on Monday, Tuesday, but then some kind of a pop. Looks like that could be a shoulder to me. And where's the next 4-week cycle though? Well, this one was early August, so the next one is early September. So I was talking about mid-September, but could be early September. So I'm looking for some kind of a corrective phase here going into early September, into the next 4-week cycle low, and this pop should produce some kind of a bounce and a lower shoulder, and we should have an even lower low early September. That's my scenario. But in a bull market, and don't get too bearish. So see ya.